Special shout out to my friend Randall of Kung Fu Conversations and Red Forest Chinese Boxing for this week's quote. Be not defeated by the rain, nor by the wind, nor let the wind prove you're better. Succumb not to the snows of winter, nor be bested by the heat of summer. Be strong in body, unfettered by desire, not enticed to anger. Cultivate a quiet joy. Count yourself last in everything. Put others before you. Watch well and listen closely. Hold the learned lessons dear. That, my friends, hit home today, this last week. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. Friends and grasshoppers, this is the Formless Podcast, episode number 120. With me, Dustin. Recently, I injured myself, and it has limited the amount of kung fu I can do, which has been pretty stinky. Because you see, martial arts, it's more than punching and kicking stuff. It's been my medicine. It's been the thing that provides me with a great amount of joy. And it's what beats my depression into submission. It's what teaches me about life and how to deal with my fellow humans. And this week's lesson was no different. So I teach 2 to 3 times a week. And it's something I look forward to. And honestly, at this point in my life, I'd probably rather be dead than not get to do it. It's just something I really enjoy. And I generally get a break. Either one of my classes is, we don't do contracts. We pay monthly, and depending on how that program you sign up for works, you can do 1, 2, 3, or unlimited classes. It just all depends on how often you want to be down there. Well, sometimes, with the holidays rolling around and the school schedules getting changed around and other activities, sometimes every once in a while, I'll have a break where nobody shows up for that week's class. And I generally do anywhere from 4 to 5 classes a night. Well, this week was no different. Actually, this was a couple weeks back. I apologize. So when that happens, I usually train on my own, or if somebody's in the building, I train with them, or most often, some of my kids are there. Well, my middle son, Coltrane, was there, and it was just me and him. And I said, hey, let's train, let's spar. And he gets all of his gear on. He's 15 and in the prime of his youth. And he's an amazing martial artist. Really good kid. He's a sponge. He can watch you do something and figure it out and do a pretty good imitation of it. And he's always watching YouTube and learning new tricks, and he never fails to show me something. So we start sparring. We just go right to it. And I'm taking it easy, not going 100%, but just kind of going. I haven't warmed up yet. I haven't stretched. I haven't exercised. I haven't really got the blood flowing. And He's just going. Takes off like a shot out of a gun. And he gets me with probably the most perfect question mark kick I've ever seen in my life. Or been on the receiving end of one anyway. Now, for those of you that don't know what a question mark kick is, the kicker throws a front or a straight kick low to the knee or the groin, and at the last second pulls that foot back, pivots on the foot that's on the ground, rotates their hips, and brings it up to a head-high round kick. Their foot, if you were to watch it, would draw a question mark in the air, basically. Hence, the question mark. Well, he pulls the kick mercifully, thankfully for me. Otherwise, it would have probably took my head off. And he sets back down, and he's got this big smile on his face, like, I just got Dad. And I'm thinking, you turkey. Actually, I'm editing myself because what I've said in my head, I shouldn't really repeat here. But it's beautiful nonetheless. And it's a proud papa moment, you know? But dang, he got me. And I acknowledge the fact that he got me, tell him he did a good job, and we continue. Well, about 30 seconds goes by, and I'm wanting blood now. I want him, right? I got to show this kid that the old man still is in charge, right? And so I decide I'm going to do the same little trick he did on me. And I throw a question mark kick of my own. And it works. Now, I pull it, obviously. He's my kid. I'm not trying to knock him out. We're not trying to compete here. But I need to show him who's in charge. Well, right about that time, my big toe is about an inch away from his head. I feel something. Something that you're not supposed to feel happen. Originally, I think it's just a pulled muscle. And I'm like, ooh, I hurt myself. We need to, pump the brakes here a little bit. And we slow down and do something else. Run drills or something. But that pain is still there. It's right in my low abdomen, in my upper thigh area, my groin. I'm like, whew, I haven't felt anything like that in a while. That's not supposed to be like that. Well, a week goes by and it's still there. And I've got like a bulge muscle area down low on my low stomach. And I'm thinking, wow, that doesn't look like it should look. Doesn't look like it does normally. And it doesn't really bother me other than like it feels like a pulled muscle. My wife, she's loving me and caring for me. It's like, you need to go to the doctor. You need to get that looked at. That could be bad. It's not really that bad. It doesn't hurt all that much unless I try and lift something heavy or kick somebody in the head, which is unfortunate because I kind of like kicking people in the head. Week and a half goes by, and this isn't getting any better. It's not going away. I better call the doctor. Now, I'm not one to go to the doctor. I don't go to the doctor unless something's wrong, unless I'm sick and I don't get better, unless I'm bleeding. I don't go to the doctor. In fact, when I called the doctor, my doctor, the last time I saw him, was COVID. And he don't work there anymore. In fact, he's retired. Probably got sick of dealing with all the medical bureaucracy. Because if you've ever been, you know that stuff stinks. So, make an appointment. I have to fill out all the paperwork again, like I'm a new patient, which is ridiculous because they already had all my information, but they needed it again. That's their policy, so whatever. And I didn't even fill out the paperwork. My wife did, because that's how stubborn I am. Anywho, I go to the doctor, and they want to ask me all sorts of questions. I'm like, listen, I'm just here because I think I pulled a muscle. I hope it's not a hernia, and I need to find out what it is so I can get better and get back to kicking people in the head like I like to do. Now, I could say a whole bunch of disparaging stuff about the office and about the doctor and things like that because, frankly, it's quite funny, but I'm going to refrain from that today. Anyway, she's asking me all these questions about my heart and about my blood work and all of this stuff. And I said, I don't know. I feel fine. Last time I did my blood work, they asked me if I ran marathons. I feel healthy. I work out now more than I ever have. I'm in good shape. Fairly, I could be in better shape, but I'm in fairly good shape. I don't run marathons or anything like that. In fact, my policy is I don't run unless I'm getting paid to do it. Because running. Ugh. Anywho, she's asking me all these rigmaroles questions and stuff. And I'm just like, could you take a look at the injury and see what you think it is so I can move on with my life? She's not budging. She ultimately ends up sending me for blood work and to go get a scan, like a sonogram. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm not pregnant and I'm not sick, but whatever. I got to make the wife happy. I've got to go through the process. So, leave the office with a referral slip. I feel like I was in grade school again. And it's one of those things where like, oh, don't call them, they'll call you. Now, I've got another follow-up appointment with this same doctor, in 2 weeks. So I wait a whole week. Nobody calls. Now, I have my phone with me, like most of you do, 24 hours a day. I have it with me all the time. So I know if I missed a call or a text, which I probably shouldn't have said that now, thinking about it. If I've ever missed a call or a text from you, my bad. But like everyone else, I have it with me all the time. So nobody calls. Finally, I call the doctor back and tell them this whole story. Like, hey, nobody's called. What's going on? I end up calling both the place to get the scan and the place to get my blood work done, the lab, and get appointments in time to get the results back to get to the follow-up appointment with the doctor. Blood work comes back fine. No problems there. Everything's good. In fact, they were better numbers than the last time I went and had my blood work done. Ironically, they had my blood work on file from 3 years ago, but they didn't have any of my other patient information. Whatever. Now, when I got the scan, this is what was interesting. I go get the scan done. Now, the scanning technician, the sonogram technician, whatever her title is, I can't remember what it is. I'm watching her face as she's running the wand over my abdomen. And I'm asking her if she can see anything, like one would. She's like, oh, I can't really tell you. I'm not supposed to tell you. But as she's saying that, she's making that face. You know, that one where you're like, ooh, that face. Yeah, you can picture it. You know what I'm talking about. You've all seen it. And I'm like, well, you don't have to tell me, lady. Your face just told me all I need to know. Long story short, I have a minor hernia. Follow-up appointment. That's the result. I got a minor hernia. Which is weird because, like, I'm standing right now as I'm recording this. I'm walking around kind of in a small circle and I don't really feel anything. But it's usually about the time I forget that I have an injury that I find out that I have an injury. You know, has its way of reminding you that it's there. So the whole time this is going on, this like 3 weeks of this now, I think Wednesday was 3 weeks. These words are echoing in my head. And it's something my dad used to tell me all the time when I was a dumb kid. Look before you leap. Pay attention. Don't forget to smell the flowers once in a while. And I guess that's the bigger lesson today. For me, life sometimes has this strange way of really letting me know that I need to slow down once in a while. Whether it's one of my fellow human beings, my family, or something like the car breaking down, or the dryer acting up, or the roof leaking. These things usually happen at the most frustratingly inopportune times as possible. And it usually reminds me, hey, did you get your 60,000 mile checkup on your car? Did you clean the gutter out? Did you stretch before you tried to kick your son in the head? The answer is usually in the negative. So, take a lesson from me. Pay attention. Look before you leap. And don't forget to smell the flowers once in a while. Friends, I hope you found this entertaining. And I hope you found some joy out of my suffering. If you found it fun, if you found it funny, if you found it good, if you found it interesting, please reach out and let me know what you thought. Either on your choice of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, Twitter. All can be found at the Formless Pod. You can email me if you prefer that way, formlesspod@gmail.com. We have a website called theformlesspod.com. All of those places I can be reached at, and you can say, hey, don't be a dummy. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, rest of your day, wherever you're listening to this in the future. And have a wonderful evening.